Meet the Iquinix A and L80, two keyboards that could possibly host one of the best stock typing experiences. In this video, I'll give you a review on what each keyboard offers, the typing stock versus modded, and overall just my pros and cons. And of course, at the very end, I'll give you my unbiased opinion on whether or not you should pick one up. And of course, thank you to Iquinix for actually sending both these keyboards out to me. Without further ado, let's get started. First, let's talk about its price and what you're actually getting. Depending on how you want to spec it out, it can cost anywhere from $170 to $200. But they also have a promo going on their website, so you can get an extra $10 off. And yes, for those wondering, these are the exact same keyboard, just a slightly different chassis. In the box, you get the keyboard itself, which is connectable via USB, 2.4 GHz dongle, or just Bluetooth. All of them support 1000 Hz polling rate besides the Bluetooth. That's 125. You also get the option of switching out the Windows and Alt key for a Command and Option key if you're on Mac. And the last two things in the box are a switching keycap holder and a brush. I like this. I haven't really seen this before in any other keyboard. Talking about the build and the makeup of the keyboard, obviously you get everything you need. The case, the switches, the keycaps, everything like that. Now admittedly, I'm not a huge fan of the switch options here. I think if they added something as little as Gateron yellows, it would make a huge difference for this keyboard and its sales. But nonetheless, some of those switches are doable, especially with lube, and it's really all preference at the end of the day. The keycaps these keyboards come with are PBT, not double shot, but just PBT, and they're pretty smooth. They almost feel like ABS, so if you're like a gamer who's looking for a really grippy PBT, these probably are not the best. The thickness is kind of inconsistent on each wall of the keycap, but on average, it's pretty decent. On the bottom of the keyboard, you can see the two different height adjustable feet and a little switch to switch between wired and wireless. The PCB here is 5-pin, but it is unfortunately north-facing LEDs, so you probably don't want to use cherry profile keycaps here. And another little plus is that I see there is some PCB foam right there. One huge bummer about this keyboard is that it has co-star stabs. While this might not be as big as a bummer as you think, stick around to the typing test. Another downside, I suppose, is that you can't take this keyboard apart and add something like case home if you really wanted to. Really, the only mods you can really do here are switching the switches and modding the stabilizers. So yeah, that is the makeup of the keyboard and what you should expect out of the box. So next, I'm going to give you a sound test of the stock version and my modded version. For the stock version, I really wanted to try silent switches, fine with the cherry pinks. I'm not a huge fan, but you can tell me what you think. For the modded version, I got on black inks. So yeah, that's the typing on both of them, and to be honest, I'm very impressed. I had low expectations for the co-star stabilizers, but stock with the factory lube on these, pretty solid. And whenever I modded it, I think it just got way better. Now the typing wasn't flawless though. In person, there is a noticeable amount of ping on both these boards. It's more present on the L80, I'd say. And you're pretty much stuck with the pinging because you can't really go into the board and add case foam or anything like that. Okay, let's move on to my final thoughts on whether or not you should actually get this board for a stock experience. Okay, I really like this board, and I think the stock experience actually is passable. But I wouldn't say it's on the same level as like an actually fully modded out keyboard. When you change the switches and mod the stabilizers, I think the typing experience grows by a lot. So who do I recommend this for? I recommend this to people who are in love with the aesthetic and also don't want to spend a lot of time modding keyboard. If you're willing to mod a keyboard, honestly, I think there are way better cost-effective options out there. And if you're looking for a stock experience but also don't really like the aesthetic, I also think there are better cost-effective options out there. I mean, take a listen to the $50 RK61. So yeah, I think what stops me from recommending this board to a lot of you is the fact that there are better cost-effective options that can give you similar results or even better results.